Yo, what's up, everybody? Hello. How are you all doing today? And thank you very much for joining me on this beautiful Sunday. The date is now Sunday, June the 26th. It's about noon here in Istanbul, Turkey. Merhaba. Nasılsınız? Greetings from Istanbul. Loving it here. I've actually been in Europe for almost one full year now. In a few weeks, it's going to be my 1 year of moving to Europe. And I think it was probably the best decision that I've made in my life. So I'll be streaming every single day, at least once or twice, one time in the morning so I can catch the European people, and also one time in the evening if I'm feeling ambitious enough. I'll stream in the evening as well for my North American followers. I really appreciate you joining me, trying to get my YouTube back up to where it was for fun while educating the public and showing people how I made over 7 figures since 2016 of being in the crypto markets, where I got an opportunity to leave my engineering career forever. And now I just day trade for a living like a degenerate. Hanging out with you guys. Just joking. So yeah, make sure you guys are giving me a like, just because that's how the algorithms work. Hit the notification button and make sure you subscribe. Also check out philakone.com if you guys are curious about my Discord group that I have, and also some of the courses that I have to offer that's been known as one of the best course in crypto history. So good morning, everybody. Let's jump right into it. Thank you very much once again for joining me. So today we're going to take a look at a few different factors of why bulls are actually buying and why this is likely a short-term bottom. So the first thing I'll start off with is zooming out far. So we zoom out right now, we're seeing a clear resistance, for example, on the 4-hour chart that has now been trending for a good 4 days. The bulls keep trying to hammer it. They keep trying to hammer it. They're hammering it. They're hammering it. Whoa, that was not supposed to happen. They're hammering it right here. Something is wrong with my arrow. Right there. Can you guys see that little arrow, or is that too small? So that arrow right there is just indicating that there's a resistance at $21,400. So every time it hit there, when it hit there the first time, I sold off the 1 Bitcoin that I had. And I actually got, I'm talking about for the public portfolio, and I got an opportunity to buy back Ethereum and Bitcoin about 3% cheaper, which netted me about, on about $30,000, about $1,000 extra that I was able to allocate towards other things like XRP. So we see this channel. This month of June, it's all been about trend lines, okay? Trend line breaks, that's the opportunity to short. Let me give you examples of trend line breaks, okay? Trend line break, for example, on XRP here, okay? You see the trend line break, and that's where you would find an opportunity to enter a short position, right? You see a trend line break, that's where you see an opportunity to enter a short position. Looking on ARPA, that ended up doing some big numbers as well. So these are some of my favorite patterns to play. When trend lines break, that's where you enter short positions, okay? This one here, over here in ARPA, this trend line formed for 3 hours, it broke, dropped down about 9%. If you missed that opportunity, you had another opportunity to short. Over here, you see a trend line that's forming, and it broke, dropping another 4 or 5%. So this is how I've been scalping all month with these trend line breaks. And when Bitcoin ended up breaking this trend line right here, Ethereum ended up breaking it as well. Ethereum had a huge one going like that. It broke. This is where I ended up shorting it, or sorry, not shorting it, but selling off my public portfolio's Ethereum position. And then I bought back literally at the bottom, and it went right back up. Hence why I'm up a very good amount right now in the public portfolio, which has $47,000 accrued. I'm splitting it between Bitcoin, Polygon, Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, Avalanche, XRP, and one of my favorites, Step App. So in the spot wallet, we have $28,400. These ones are not really stakeable. In the staking earn, I have $18,000, so that's 46K. And then on Step App, that's on the MetaMask, that has the other $4,000 remaining right now. So the public portfolio has now grown by 4% in only 1 week, with 8.6% ROI so far, with a P&L of over $4,000. So this is the portfolio that I'll be managing for the public, and you guys can see it. In my main portfolio, I've got other coins in there as well, such as EGLD. I've got way more XRP and a lot of BNB as well on there, and more Matic. So I'm managing about 12 coins on there. Here I'm only managing 8 for the public. So I'm going to be very transparent about that with you guys. So let's talk about Bitcoin's daily moving MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, and why it's important, okay? So first of all, this first crossover that you see is not often the one that's going to give you a big rally. When you first see the MACD crossover from the positive side, and I call that the positive side because this is the x-axis. See this line that goes left to right, where y is equal to 0? It's known as the 0 line or the x-axis, okay? Anything above it is considered positive. Anything below it is considered negative. The first time that you see it crossing over from a high point to a low point, and the first crossover that you see going back up is usually not the one that's going to do something big. It could rally, but it's not going to be huge, okay? This is an attempt going up, so you count that as one crossover. This is another one going back down, so that's the second crossover. And then the third crossover is the one that's more likely to do something than the first one. So this is going up to make the 3, coming back down to make the 4. And that one didn't do much at all. But the fifth one that happens is really likely to do something, okay? Because the fifth one is usually at a lower point. Here, it's about the same point. The fifth crossover usually indicates the fifth wave. So we're likely to see some bullish momentum despite it being a lagging indicator, despite it being lagging where it needs a previous set of data to formulate an average. It's not real time, like looking at price action. Hey, good morning, Hannah. Welcome very much. I've got a friend named Hannah in the Netherlands, and she's awesome, but you're definitely not her. So looking here, we see that the MACD has a potential to cross over. Sometimes it takes longer to cross over and actually make way. So let's just take a look at some examples of crossovers. Okay, for example, Matic had very positive news. It crossed over here, and we ended up getting a massive rally of about 100%. Sol eventually crossed over here, and we ended up getting a rally of 60%. For example, GMT crossed over here, and we ended up getting a rally that's still going today of 100%. Bell has not crossed over yet. It's going at a different way than other coins. So SCU hasn't crossed over yet. 1inch crossed over, and this guy did 53%. So it keeps going like this with every single coin, where the momentum is now shifting to the bulls, okay? So that's one really good indicator that's letting you know that, hey, it's coming. Another huge one is how on the 4-day MACD, it has the momentum to go to the upside. Do you see that? Right there. And then the next one has an even bigger tick. So based off of the 4-day, the momentum is actually moving to the upside. Especially, sorry about the kids outside. I leave my window open because my dog likes to see the window. So on the 4-day, we see Bitcoin over here. Or that's not Bitcoin. On the 4-day, here's the MACD for Bitcoin. Same thing as Kava that I showed you earlier. I think my neighbors are yelling at somebody. Let me close the window. Give me 1 second. Hey, Ellie, come here. Come. All right. Got to show you guys Ellie every single video. To be just very, very quick. I'm not going to be too long. She's an Elliott Wave analyst, a junior Elliott Wave analyst. And her name is Ellie, named after Elliott Wave theory. 7 months old. Look into the camera, Ellie. So anyways, just saying hi always. She's my baby. She's going to trade with me for the rest of her life. Okay, anyways. You guys always ask to see her, so I'm going to just show you her once in a while. So the 4-day is moving to the upside for BTC's MACD. The 4-day has a Dragonfly Doji as well, which is incredibly powerful. Hey, Urkan. Greetings. Thank you, Mango Juice. I appreciate the comment. So then that's great momentum, all going to the upside, okay? So now the 2 days on its way to crossing upwards as well. So if the daily MACD crosses over and we get momentum to the upside, it's going to cascade over to the higher time frames. And if it does that, then we're going to have a higher degree of bullishness, okay? So right now, you're looking at it on the 30 time frame. The 30-minute time frame, it's very undecisive right now. The MACD is hovering on a shorter time frame, and we don't know if this is going to break up or down. But what we do see is that we're constantly hammering at this particular resistance. So it's in your best interest to right-click on TradingView, go to Add Alert, go to greater than every time. Never choose crossing. Always choose greater than or less than, okay? Make sure your sound is on that you can hear every single day. Check once, okay? So mine's on, definitely. So every time it's greater, you can even delete the resistance. Just put your alert here instead. This way you know for a fact it's trying to break upwards and you will hear it. So once it broke out of the channel, it got a rejection right here, as we can see, right? Tried to go back into the channel, but unfortunately it couldn't get back in. And now it fights at this resistance, trying to break to the upside. So because the daily is very bullish, where it's crossing to the upside, right? It wants to break this resistance, but we don't know if it will yet. But what I'll tell you is this, okay? This is a site called BitInfo Charts. BitInfo Charts gives you a list of all the public addresses of pretty much every single coin. So here is the top. I'll go to the beginning just to show you guys. You can click on Bitcoin here, okay? You can click on Bitcoin right there. Click on top 100. So the top 100 shows you the biggest Bitcoin addresses. The biggest one here is right there, $5.4 billion. Second biggest one is $3.6 billion. The third biggest one is $2.8 billion. Now, I'm not just making up this data. I'm telling you right now that this is the first time in crypto history where there are more people holding over one Bitcoin than any other time in history. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Right now, there's more people holding Bitcoin than ever before. People are buying this dip right now. Okay, the market sentiment is definitely bullish, and I'll show you why as well. So I clicked on the top 3 addresses here at BitInfo Charts. So the first address that you see here, this guy ended up buying, he ended up buying nothing, okay, on the dip. Okay, the first guy bought nothing. Okay, he's just settled right there. But the next guy here bought nothing as well. But the third guy is actually buying a lot. This is the one that's holding 130,000 Bitcoin, which is worth $2.8 billion. Now, he's been buying for a while now on all of these dips. So if the third biggest wallet in the world is actually buying dips, that's quite something to say. And he's not just buying a few $100 or thousands, okay, or millions of dollars worth. For example, on the 14th, when Bitcoin was at 22K, he bought $2.8 billion, okay? Or that was his balance, right? So he's buying a crap ton. He's buying here like $10 million, okay? He's bought 10 million there. He bought 5 million there, 6.1, 5.4, 11 million, another 5. So he's buying a lot of Bitcoin right now. And if the whales are starting to gobble up the price of Bitcoin, and it's not just this wallet, it's all of these wallets that are starting to buy right now. And also, there's more people that hold also 0.1 Bitcoin in history than any other time before. Another really good historical fact is that right now, based off of the weekly RSI, okay, I'm going to go to Binance or Bitfinex because it's been there for a long time. If I zoom all the way back to 2014 and I look at the weekly RSI, this is the first time in history since 2014. That's now 8 years, okay? 8 years that you see where it's the absolute lowest RSI that we've seen. BitInfo Charts. That's what it's called. I just typed it into the group chat there. It's a really good site just to take a look at all the wallets. So just talking about the MACD, seeing the weekly RSI extremely oversold, seeing a lot of whales gobble up the price right now. Of course, I'm going to believe for now that the market is fairly bullish. There's no other way to see it that there could be a good relief bounce. Now, don't get me wrong. It could absolutely drop to 17,000, 15,000, 12,000. In fact, right now, I'm bullish because of what I see. right? I have to believe the data that's in front of me. Unless we get big drops, then the sentiment changes. Despite me having a bias right now, it's not a permanent bias that can't be altered. I cannot be a perma bull. I'm not going to always be predictive. I'm going to be reactive to the market, and as information comes and market data comes in, then my opinion and my formulation of what's going on in the market will also change. So always keep an open mind is what I'm saying. Never be strict with what you see and believe and have your bias only go that way. So the reason I say this is because I'm ready to dollar cost average, right? The portfolio that's public is at about 50K right now. I showed my group yesterday that if these coins, these 8 coins of mine get to an all-time high again, I'll make an easy $250,000. On my main portfolio, I'm managing about 1.4 million right now, which is substantially more than here. That portfolio, if it gets back to all-time high levels, will make me pretty much a retirement of money that I'm hoping to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years at most. I believe in dollar cost averaging when the data is giving us signs that it's fairly bullish right now. And despite it not being bullish or not, for example, if my opinion was wrong, then it's still a great time to be buying. And in my non-financial advice opinion, is a great time to be buying because of all of these oversold conditions that's reaching historical data and price points right now. It's making history, so it's a great time, in my opinion, to start dollar cost averaging. Whether we have caught the bottom or not is irrelevant. The point is that we're at a point in history where the conditions say this is a fire sale. This is a sale where it's everything is just really cheap right now. It's all on sale. So I have to make sure I position myself when these conditions are right for me. And if it does drop down further, then I'm going to make sure that I dollar cost average and keep believing in the bull market that is definitely going to come. So dollar cost averaging is definitely your best friend. You're never going to time the bottom exactly right there. The people that keep waiting for the bottom never ever catch it. In fact, they wait so long for it that they miss the bull market, because once that bull market begins and the market reverses and they've waited for so long, they're so psyched out in their head, right? They're so jaded. They're like, what? They're so set on catching that bottom, but never came. So now they don't even know how to enter a long position, because the market has already moved tremendously against them. So now the FOMO kicks in, right? The FOMO kicks in. They enter at a really bad price. Markets end up reversing where they entered, which they regret. They sell off their position. Panic happens, and then they actually lose money on it. And then they end up buying back in at a higher price again. This cycle keeps repeating over and over again. Am I investing in Turkish Lira? Yes, I do have a Turkish Lira bank account, of course. And yes, I have to have Turkish Lira because I live in Turkey. So, and all of my money in the Turkish Lira is put into, of course, the e-savings account where it's generating 17% APY. So I have a few million Turkish Lira. That's, like, I'm not saying the number to, like, be cocky or anything, but of course I live in Turkey. So I'm going to keep some fiat currency there, right? So I have to do something with it to fight the inflation, right? So the inflation in Turkey, he's asking because of this, guys, okay? This is Turkey right here, if you guys haven't seen. Turkey's money lost its value by over 30% again, right? So last year, the Turkish Lira lost about 70-80% of its money. Actually, more than that. It went from, like, the USD of Turkey went from, like, 6.7 for, every dollar got you 6.7 Turkish Lira to, like, basically nothing, right? So that if you look at the other way, it's a better understanding. So here's the Turkish Lira, right? Over the past few years, it's just declining. It's tremendously. And unfortunately, since 2022, it's also dipped 40% as well. So yeah, so I'm just going to see if you guys have any relevant questions. I'm glad that you guys like Ellie. I don't know if you guys saw my Munchkin cat yet, but she's got these tiny little arms. Yeah, so I'm not really in the mood to look at alts today, Youssef, because it's Sunday and there's not much to report right now. Some coins are moving. Like, generally speaking, the market's dead today. You can't really catch coins like this that moves 23% in 1 hour unless you're, like, doing heavy analysis. These coins are just hard to catch. Like, you got to be really watching the market or using Crypto Loom and refreshing it and just cycling through it a lot to catch. Ape is just slow and steady, you know? 20% moves. I'm not awake during these times. You see what I mean by 3 in the morning? 3 in the morning, daily close, started to pump up. I'm not ready to catch these. Other than that, nothing has really moved, plus or minus 20%, right? So because nothing has really moved, I'm just logging into Crypto Loom. Give me a second. Because nothing's really moved, plus or minus 10%, it's considered a very slow day for me so far, right? Nothing. If you sort it by highest and lowest on TradingView, it's nothing at all. Let's go to Crypto Loom here to see if we can actually get anything relevant. So when you go to Crypto Loom, sort it by high RSI and low RSI on all time frames. Nothing is oversold on the daily because nothing is really above. We already saw Unfi and Storage do its rally and it's now reached its end. Nothing is oversold under 30. On the 4 hour, nothing is above 4 hour oversold RSI except for GMT, RVN, REN, right? Actually, no, not those guys. Yeah, right here, GMT, RVN, REN. GMT has already made its move, of course, during my sleep, like always. I'm not awake around this time, you know, 10, 11. I'm not awake. It's too late for Europe. And of course, it ends up finishing when I wake up. So here's another really clear example of a break. It's all been about trend lines. Once you see trend lines break, you short it. Here's a trend line that formed for literally 4 hours. If you have shorted it, you would have been up 5% already. And just taking a look at RVN, since it's oversold or overbought, choppy as fuck. This coin's not a coin I would ever trade. It's too choppy, up and down. I don't like coins like this that move like that. I like coins like this. I'll give you guys a great example of what coins are great to trade. These are really beautiful coins to trade, where it's just one gigantic movement to the upside, huge trend lines for breakouts, breakout trend line, right? Short the trend line, right? Just easy. Wave number 1 as well, breakout trend line, breakout trend lines, breakout trend lines over here. These are the best coins to trade. Storage was beautiful. I like coins like ARPA that made really good movements, right? Very predictable movements, easily counted, huge structures to the upside. If you compare that to RVN, you'll kind of get an idea of why this is shitty. It's going down 4%, up 5%, down 4%, up 5%. Stay away from those coins. They're not worth your time. REN is the next one that's high on RSI. So REN is really hard to catch, right? These coins are really difficult to catch. We went over that already. Would you mind taking a look at SHIB? I will gladly glance at it quickly. SHIB is doing a pretty good rally. SHIB is one of the coins that's definitely leading the pack. It's unfortunately reaching a resistance here, right? There's a massive resistance that's been formed for over 2 weeks. So it's very likely for it to reach another 3-4%. Might skyrocket. You don't know, right? But it's definitely worth noting that this is probably channeling of some sort right here. It's probably going to end up channeling somehow. There's a clearly identified support that's visibly seen. And SHIB is absolutely reaching 125. These kind of moves, they're too late to enter. Okay? I can see you type 1 time to here. You don't need to spam. I appreciate your enthusiasm though. So SAN's doing great. It's one of the coins that's certainly moving parabolically right now at an 80% move already. So it's certainly coming up to a resistance soon. First level is just coming up, and the next levels will most likely be an average. So you can expect a clear resistance to be over here already. It's too late though to enter these coins, guys. Way too late. You don't want to enter these coins too late, right? Because you had massive opportunities already to enter these kind of coins. It's all about the trend lines. I'm not joking. Like, just trend line breaks everywhere. If not that one, then the resistance break, right? There's so many opportunities, in my opinion, to have entered these trades here. So SAN is probably about 5-6% away from reaching the resistance, in my opinion. Do you enter at retest of trend line? 25 US. I would recommend you watch yesterday's video. I went into very high detail the 3 different ways of entering a trade on breakouts. And I actually went over it the day before that as well. So I would highly recommend that you go over it. But just generally speaking, there's so many different ways to enter at breakouts. Breakouts can do pretty much 3 things. They can just go up and then they never retest. That's the first thing. Second thing is they can go up, come down, retest, and then boom. And the third thing that it does is it goes up and then it fails and comes right back in, right? That's literally the only 3 things that can happen. So you have to decide what kind of trader you want to be. Nobody can tell you which way is best. Do you want to be the trader that enters here? If you do, you got to set your stop loss roughly right below it. Because if you do that, if the coin keeps continuing, you won the trade. If the coin does not keep continuing because it corrects first, right? It corrects first, but it bounces above the trend line that it broke out. That's now a support. And it goes up. Your stop loss is below it. So you win the trade again. And the only time is if the trade fails, you hit the stop loss there. That's my favorite way to trade. You can be one of the more conservative traders and enter either here on the breakout, but a retest must happen first. Or you could be the trader that entered on the retest. Nobody can tell you which is best. It's up to you to choose, okay? So this is a really good way to take a look at it. You can enter there or there, right? So here, so it's really up to you what you want to do, as long as you're ensuring that your stop loss is tight. Always set a stop loss below the support, okay? Below the resistance, that's now a support. Somo, how did I get such a comfy looking chair in Turkey? I can't find one anywhere. This one is called, I'll type it out for you, Ergo Chair Autonomous Pro. This is a chair that I ordered from America. And this $600 chair after shipping ended up becoming like I think $1,400 or something to bring it into Turkey. I wanted this exact chair because it's the same one that I have in Canada. It's the fully ergonomic chair. You can do anything you want. It's got a good neck rest. I highly recommend this chair. It's a great chair. Matt Wilcox, will I be doing another sale on my course 2.0? And is it suitable for a novice? Yes, absolutely, it's suitable for a novice. It's designed from the ground up, so you don't need to have any experience. I teach you all the terminology and everything from my particular style to introduce you into the market. And yes, I will have 10 slots available in July. But hang tight, I might even have a better sale because I'm getting 200 of my books coming in. The course, 100 books coming in that's available to the public. It's the 2nd edition, course version 2.0. I actually wrote a book, and it's a really good book. Hello, Mark Dennis. Greetings from Turkey. All right, so it looks like there are a bunch of questions that are running out. I'm not really in the mood to do technical analysis on alts today. Altcoins are absolutely boring. I do have an Elliott wave analysis course that you can take. It's included in the overall course, right? It's not exactly an Elliott wave course only. The reason why I don't have an Elliott wave course only is because you shouldn't be studying only EWT and learning everything about corrections. What you should do is just only trade the Elliott wave structures that can be counted. The other ones, if they're difficult to count, if there are too many corrective, double, triple zigzags and corrections, walk away from them. That's what I learned in my 7 years of doing Elliott wave analysis and making well over 7 figures day trading cryptocurrency, which is if there's a difficult Elliott wave count, just walk away from it. Try to find another coin that's worth your time. You got to invest your time wisely when hunting for coins, and do not force a trade, and don't fall in love with the coin. Don't get attached to a coin. If you're doing a massive EWT technical analysis with all these corrections you're trying to count, you're biased, okay? You're also really attached to the coin. Walk away from the coins that you can't count quickly. because there's always going to be a coin that you can count very easily. Okay. So anyways, so the book is not sold alone, Zoom Coco. It's only going to be sold as a package with Discord membership and also with the course itself as well. So I'm going to call it here. 30 minutes is a really good mark. Sunday, there's not much action going on. Everyone's waiting for Bitcoin at this particular resistance. There's not many coins to be day trading today either. Nothing is oversold. Nothing is overbought, right? No volume is really picking up except for RVN and GMT barely, right? If we sort it, we know GMT moved already. If there's only 4 coins above double-digit movements, it's not great at all, the market. It's important that you don't burn out as a trader. You got to make sure you know when to step away from the market and just say, you know what? I'm not going to force a trade. You have to see, there's a wedding party outside. Very, very cute. People love to take photos of my house because it's a really beautiful picture. It's very picturesque. So people walk here and then they really want to take a photo because like it's just a really beautiful house at the front. I'd show you guys it, but then I would be doxing myself. So make sure you're allocating time for yourself to do other things, to stay healthy, staying fit, doing things outside of crypto. You cannot just sit at the computer and force these trades to happen. If there's only, for example, 4 coins to trade, right? Why would you want to keep your selection to forcing 4 possible coins to trade? When on a good day, for example, 2 days ago when I made 7 grand, we had about 15 to 20 different coins that we could have picked. The selection is greater. The opportunity is more vast. There's more room for margin of error as well. It's more forgiving, right? Because there's so much opportunity. You can choose which coins are the best. But if your selection is like literally 1 coin to trade, maybe that's a sign that you shouldn't overtrade. Because trust me, burning out and overtrading is a real thing, right? If you only have a limited amount of mental stamina and energy a day or a week or a month, you don't want to spend it doing double and triple Elliott wave zigzags, doing Elliott wave analysis on the 5-second time frames when it's moving 1%, you know? Don't waste your time doing things like that. Today, trust me when I say that there's nothing to trade, okay? There's going to be nothing to trade. Maybe closer to the evening in Europe time or closer to the daily close, something may happen. But right now, as it stands for the weekly chart is looking pretty decent, right? It's more of a corrective wave right now. It's got a higher low, really tight formation that formed in the weekly, right? We ended up moving this week only about 10%. So it's only going to get tighter and tighter. And we're going to see what unfolds, I think, probably early July or later at the end of this month. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this stream of mine. Thank you very much for watching. And maybe I'll see you tonight if there's an update. Bye now and have yourselves a great day.